So I own a lot of Viltrox lenses, and this thing still caught me off guard. Now on paper, this is the brand new Viltrox APS-C 90mm F2.2 lens, which is roughly a 135mm equivalent. And that really is the story here. This gives you the same reach, it gives you the same compression, but it gets rid of the size and the weight. This is a super lightweight, very small, almost compact EVO lens that Viltrox just released. So let's jump into this. But first, thanks to Viltrox for sending this out. This is going to be, as always, a buyer-focused friendly review where my whole goal is only to give you enough information so that you can make an educated buying decisions. Now, per usual, Viltrox doesn't care what I say or anything like that. They just want my honest opinion and the style of review that I typically do, which I usually focus on use case and then where this fits in your workflow and my experience with it. So let's jump into that. So I just wanted to show you really quick. These are raw, right out of the camera using the 90mm. So don't judge the photos, just judge the capabilities of the lens because these are raw, no edits. So I want to show you, like I said, it's pre-game. This is a dark, dirty, look at this. It's a dark, dirty gem. This is pre-game. So these are the Viltrox 90mm and I'm shooting with the Sony A7C II. So let's just go through some of these really quick. So I just wanted to point out in this particular picture and in this, all I'm doing is adding some light exposure just so you can see the photos, but I'm not editing anything. There are no masks or anything like that on these pictures. It's just fresh out of the camera. So no clarity, no nothing. Just fresh out of the camera. See that 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. All right, here we go. So just look at this here. So Kari and Pei are the closest. It's an eye autofocus, but they're not looking. So of course, I wanted to zoom in, take a look at Kari's hair here and just see the details in Kari's hair. You can see all the loose fibers and you can see clean lines. But look at that background. I just showed you that back wall, right? Look how that back wall just kind of disappears and all of that muck and grime is gone. But you can see like that roll off of where the folks are in focus and not. It's smooth. I'm going to slide forward. Take a look at Mo right here. Look at this, the detail in the skin and her face. Look at the color in her face. And again, there are no color profiles or anything like that here. This is all 0, 0, 0. It's as shot, which was auto white balance. 3700 it took. I'm just adding exposure so you can see, but there's nothing else. There's no mask or anything in these photos. So I just want to continue to point that out because I want you to see how sharp these lines are here. And then like the roll off into the, the background. Carter's right here in the front, Paisley's looking at the clipboard, but she's the focal point because of the eye autofocus. Like look at her eyes. It's just super sharp. Like, and I'm punching in deep into these photos. Take a look at London here in this dark environment, lower light, kind of over by the bleachers area. Again, same thing, background is gone. Like that compression, it's close, but it's gone at the same time. Look at the detail in her dreads right here. I want you to see that, how well it separates this dread from the background, this single dread from the background. And I'm close. I mean, look at the detail and the color in her skin. This is just, again, no profiles. Same thing again with Kari. Look at this. This is fresh out of camera. Let me go over here to Zoe because I wanted to see Kari. This one here, even when you get really, really tight on this jersey where this white hits the background, you can see a little bit of artifacts right there. But look how far you had to punch in to even see anything like that. And we're talking about an EVO lens here, right? Look at Zoe. Look at the detail in her eyes. And again, I'm way back. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting back. I'm away from them. They're getting ready for the game, so I'm like 10, feet away from. But it's crazy. It looks just really good. I mean, again, the detail. Look at the detail. It's all there. Nothing's missing. Just nothing's missing. So yeah, I just wanted to point it out really quickly, like how nice This looks fresh. I mean, out of the camera with no editing, no mask, no anything, no sharpness, no clarity, no anything. Natural colors, ARW file, raw photos directly from the A7C2, no edits. Looks amazing. Now, looking at this lens, like kind of going around the body of it, you have a clickable or non-click aperture ring where you can click or unclick it for smooth, depending on if you're doing photography or video. You also have a function button that can be programmed within the body of the camera. And then you also have the manual and auto fan, and then you have the manual and autofocus switch as well. Now on the front here, you have a 58mm filter thread for filters. And then you have a STM motor, 0.74 meter minimal focal distance. And in real life, I mean, for a 90mm, that's really not that bad at all. As far as the feel, there is a pretty good resistance to the focus pull, which I like. I don't like lenses that are super too light, so I feel like I'm moving it, all the time. So there is a pretty good resistance to that. And then on the aperture, there's a pretty decent resistance as well, but it's super smooth and fluid. This is the E-mount. It also has a USB-C port right there for firmware updates in the future. This also is going to come out on an X and a Z mount as well. The biggest thing here is that this gives you the portrait look. It gives you the reach, it gives you the separation, and it gives you the compression. But the difference is it gets rid of the weight and it gets rid of the size. This is a super small, almost compact EVO lens. So one of the things that caught me most off guard when it came to the 90mm was the pop of color. And you saw it in the raw photos there, just in the raw photos, but some of the other photos that I took that I actually edited and went through and different things like that, just the pop of color with this lens with the same camera really shocked me. Now, my favorite lens to usually use on this is the 24mm f1.4, which I've always talked about, my G Master from Sony. But with this one, it gives me that opposite end. It gives me that compression. It gives me the portrait. It gives me the separation in the background. That one does as well with the 1.4. But this one is just so light, and it's giving me that. And it's giving me that shot where I don't actually necessarily have to get really close to the person or anything like that. My team was joking with me because they were like, are you just going to take photos of people out in the crowd? And I was like, yes, I am. And then they were like, isn't that an invasion of privacy? And I was like, no, it's not. They're in a public place. Like, no, it's not. They're in a public place. But, to be able to kind of just pull out this very little small thing and no one be intimidated because it's not this huge, lens that's pointing at them. But I think the real story here is that how light this is and how portable this is, right? We're talking, again, this is a 90mm APS-C. It's not a full frame. It doesn't cover up a full frame. So when you are in full frame mode in the A7C2, you will see the, the vignetting or the circle where it's not covering the full sensor. But I have it programmed to this just to hit that button and switch to the APS-C mode on the camera. And so I'm getting exactly what I need out of the lens. This lens sits between their Air series, which is kind of like their really small, lightweight, all the same size, and then the Lab, which is kind of like their Pro level. So the top level is Lab, EVO's in the middle, and then Air at the bottom. So who do I think this 90mm is for? Now, I think it's sharp enough to do professional work, specifically because a lot of us are doing a lot of things that are showing up on social media, and you're not really expanding anything crazy big or anything like that, putting it on the side of buildings and stuff like that for the most part. Now, if you are doing something like that, then you would be using a different type of lens anyway. And so with that being said, within the space that I would sit in within content creators, freelancers, photographers, etc., I do think that you can get away with this for professional work. I think it's that sharp, and I think it has really nice color and character. And I think it's one of those things that where it's so light that you can always keep it on your camera. And so I can see this for content creators, for photographers. I can see this for street photography, people that travel, landscape, depending on the type of places where you're shooting, etc. So I really like this lens, and it's an EVO lens within the Viltrox world, so it's going to be very affordable. And I'll always have the link in the description below, so that way you can find the most recent pricing. But let me know your thoughts. I think this is an amazing lens, and I think that if you are looking for something like this that's going to give you that compression, that depth of field, that separation from the background, and that portrait look, I think this should definitely be on the top of your list because of the price to value ratio. So let me know your thoughts. If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed today's video, hit that like and subscribe button below, join the Cosey Coalition, and as always, stay cozy in that crazy world, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.